Brian, I'm going to pick on you just a little bit. Brian and Third Stage went into this journey thinking we don't know exactly what. Brian, I'm going to let you explain a little bit if you wouldn't mind. If you want to hand it that. Well, you're limping along. I should have done that myself. But Brian's going to be talking on our client panel tomorrow too, and I just thought I'd. I warned you, Brian. I told you that I was going to call you out. But this is a pretty typical scenario when we're talking to almost any organization, especially one in a manufacturing environment that's been around for a long time. So you want to explain what you were looking at in terms of selecting how you were going to move into a transformation for the organization?
Yeah, so we've been on a legacy ERP platform that our parent company was kind enough to gift us back in 1998. We are still running that system. It's iSeries based. It's on RPG3 coding, and we've. It seems like every 3 to 5 years, technology obsolescence, that topic comes up, and our executives say, "Are we running the right system? Do we need to be on something new, or is there something else out there?" And of course, they all look at the IT leader and say, "Okay, you tell us what to do." And it really starts to get into the whole business strategy side. So I said, "Nope, I'm here to help augment the IT for the business." So that's when we leveraged with Third Stage to sort of come in and just evaluate and say, we know we've got this really long-standing ERP system. We keep hearing all the marketing about the AI tools and everything else that's out there. What should we really be focused on in short term, medium term, and long term? And that's how we sort of worked with them this year. And we had a lot of siloed data that wasn't talking to one another. So I think that's really where this whole concept of we really got to have that interoperability hub to really run the data bridge for the business.
It's about data, right? So many times, especially in the last decade, we've really been looking to our friends, our ERP vendors, our partners, right? Let's be clear. The ERP vendors absolutely want us to all be successful with their software systems going forward, right? But there are a lot of legacy application systems and interconnections between those systems that have to be maintained. The special sauce that we keep talking about, the tribal knowledge that needs to be extracted from the organization and put into an operational format, right? Bringing all of that into a single source of the truth at the center of this used to be really kind of troublesome. You would use middleware components and so forth to bring everything together. Now you can actually work with a Snowflake, a Palantir, some of the other options that are available out there, Databricks. We assessed all these solutions with Sumitomo and actually came up with kind of a middle ground, I would say, that says we can create this on our own, but it's got to be this centralized hub that really controls those disparate applications on the engineering side. It takes that special sauce, puts it into a data repository where it can be normalized, and that information can be pulled out and actually put into the various business intelligence aspects of the overall business itself, the business operations. And so we created this interoperability hub. The hub acts in two ways. It's a foundation that you can use to get your data all in one place, to bridge to that new enterprise system in the future, or you can run legacy systems for a much longer period of time if you've got uniform data as a platform across the entire enterprise, right? So that's where really just that core unified operations You think about PE firms, you think about different organizations that have different businesses that run completely disparate processes and multiple ERP systems, WMS systems, asset management, all of the other buzzwords and acronyms that need to come together. And now there are ways of pulling that all together in a single data model. So this is the opportunity to establish what we would call quick wins, that you can show to the rest of the organization that you're able to get this data all in one place in a period of 90 to 120 days, rather than 2 years for implementation of a whole new system. So that really seems to be, and Brian, I'll ask you to weigh in again. You have a Japanese parent organization. 2 years ago, you went with an SAP implementation that didn't go so well, so it was kind of stopped. There wasn't a huge appetite, was there, for kind of a new ERP system to replace everything that you have?
Not at all.
So in so doing, as we put together this model and we started looking at it, we went to the executive team and said, look, this may be an alternative for you. If we can get to a success within the data modeling, pull it all together into one organized place where you can pull all those insights, all that business information that's critical to the way you run your organization in 3 months. Could we do that, and then behind that, make sure that all of the other systems and everything else that we're bringing together are updated, upgraded, consolidated, and then the things that need to be sunsetted and moved out can be done in the right sequence. So you can sequence everything in a 3 and 5 year plan, rather than deciding to go with it, and in 2 years you're going to change everything and you're going to go live in 2 years with a big new colossal ERP system, shiny and new, and then you'll start realizing the business benefits. No, it plays very well with your executive team to be able to go in and show a business case for getting those advantages right up front. So Brian, I think that was exactly what we saw with the 10, 15 people in the Star Chamber going, oh, this is exactly what we need. We need the middle, right? We don't need the 2 years of disruption.
Right. And that was actually one of the executives' mantras, is they really did not want to have any kind of business disruption.
So the operations bridge to getting to that new digital enterprise operations, all of the new systems, all of the new sequencing of the consolidation needs to go on. From a finance standpoint, think about the total cost of ownership of implementing something that's, I mean, it's not inexpensive, right? I mean, you're looking at $1 million to implement something that would act as that interoperability hub or foundation. But that, instead of a $10, $15 million and 2 to 3 year implementation of a new ERP system across the board, is a pretty good success rate. The software vendors actually love it too, because it gives us the opportunity to go in with an Infor, an Epicor, any of the people, NetSuite, any of the people that you saw up here, and have them actually implement on a scale and in a timeline that makes sense for the organization. The organizational change can happen as it's supposed to happen. So a lot of that tribal knowledge and so forth that normally would be kind of a pushback in terms of the change that's happening within the organization, now they can be brought along, because they're going to be needed all the way through this to create the new system that you're going to be operating under. And you're also going into this with eyes wide open in terms of the business case. So you set your objectives up front in what we typically call phase 0. And then you get to that end state, that final operating model that you're expecting at the end of 3 to 5 years, with known metrics that you can measure the success of that that full implementation and transformation.